Hello!
Hi there. Right, we're going to talk about our favourite films that we've seen so far this year in 2022. So that's from beginning of January to the end of April. And you've only seen 7 films.
Shut up, don't rub it in. It was because I was in hospital in December.
Put the violins away, will you?
I'm just saying, it's fact.
I've seen a lot more, so come on.
Don't rub it in.
So you've got 7, so even though you enjoyed all the films, let's come, and I've got 7 as well. Even though I've seen a lot more films.
Number 7 is Sing 2. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really better than the first one. Other movies stood out this year. It was good, and I do want a sequel. It's just other movies happened.
Yeah, I didn't put it on my list, but I really enjoyed it. And funny enough, no musicals are on my list, even though you can guarantee there will be a Marvel film on my list, and just wait for that. Teaser, teaser, teaser. But I really enjoyed Sing 2.
No, oh no,
She's just seen my number 1.
No.
No, carry on. There's a long way to go, yeah.
Number 6.
My number 7.
Yeah, your number 7
is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. In other words, the Nick Cage film. I really love this because it was it came out at the same time as, not long after Lost City, and Lost City's taken over, and Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is just sunk, and that's really annoyed me because I know you're going to talk about so we'll get on to that because it's on your list as well. But I'm a long time admirer of Nick Cage's films because he's really made some good ones, and I think this one should have done better at the box office. We're sort of supporters of the underdog, aren't we? Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about this again, but number 7 for me, yes.
Number 6 for me is Uncharted. Again, the same thing with Sing 2. I thought it was really good. It's just other more memorable films came for me. And because I only watched it once, it wasn't fresh in my mind really, and it wasn't my most hype for this year, but I thought it was really good. And people complained that Tom Holland was basically just playing Peter Parker. But if you think that's the case, you don't know Peter Parker or at all, or understand Tom Holland as an actor. He is a really good actor, and I thought he played like this cocky, arrogant, thief, which
Peter Parker isn't.
No, he's not a cocky, arrogant thief who pickpockets women. So I don't know how people saw these are just Tom Holland playing the same character.
No,
he actually put good emotion into Nate. Okay, I get the complaints about Mark Wahlberg, but I do think Tom as a young Nate Drake was a really good casting.
So let's have more of these, because even though it's not on my list, I do want more. Even though I'm not a video player, I thought this was entertaining and enjoyable.
Yeah, it's not the best video game movie of all time, but it's still really good. It can't beat Pikachu, but Pikachu was great, but it's still really good.
Right, number 6 for me was Death on the Nile. I've seen a lot of Agatha Christie films and TV over the years, and I like this because I liked it on the big screen. I think it looked amazing on the big screen. I think it deserved more recognition, and it looked wonderful, and I like the changes that were made. A friend of mine was really appalled of all the changes that had been made. But I think it was just like the modern take, and I don't like things that are just the repeats of what's gone on before. I think we need to not fall into this pit of just repeating what we've done, and it has to be different, and I think this served well, and it looked amazing on the big screen, even though it was probably it's all CGI and it's on a green screen, and perhaps you could tell that, but I just think it looked spectacular, and it really made me want to go to Egypt.
We're not going there this October, sorry though. And then number 5 for me is Lost City. I really enjoyed this film. Comedy is a genre that's dead to me and is slowly dying, so I didn't expect to enjoy this film much at all, but I was laughing lots, and I ironically went by myself on May the 4th when I should have been watching a Star Wars film. Still enjoyed it though, and I really enjoyed like the atmosphere. A standout for me was, never mind the dynamic between Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock, I really enjoyed Daniel Radcliffe. He was the reason I wanted to watch the film, and I'm just really proud of him, and I hope, like Emma Watson has, that him and both Rupert Grint, for the good of their own souls, separate out into even more projects and make themselves even more well known and not known for that, especially with the awkwardness going on surrounding that
which we're
franchise.
not going to talk about.
It's best to disassociate from it. So I think I'm very proud of him. And I wouldn't actually mind seeing him cast in Marvel, Star Wars, whatever they want to do with him, because he's a really good actor that shouldn't be wasted.
I liked it because it was a mixture of different genres.
Yeah, it was, and it was pretty funny.
And it was funny, and I like Brad in it and Brad Pitt in it. I thought it was really funny.
Enemies to lovers is the best trope, though, isn't it?
But I liked it, but it didn't make my list, and I was just annoyed that it's sort of like taken over from the Nick Cage film. But never mind. So my number 5 was Belfast. I thought this film was amazing. It did a wonderful job. It didn't sort of put the blame on anybody. It just told it like it was, from a young boy's point of view, and how, what a lovely family he belonged to, and it made you laugh, it made you cry, and the relationship with the young boy and his grandparents was particularly touching. And it's just, unfortunately you didn't get to see it, and I think it's something that it's something I recommend if you haven't seen it. And I'm really glad it did well at the Oscars, and that Kenneth Branagh was recognised because of it. So there you go.
For me, number 4 on my list is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Now, I watched this film because Pedro Pascal was in it. He's a really good actor, and although I love him in The Mandalorian, and although he emotes pretty well, we need to see his face more. And it's a bit weird because I struggle with eye contact and stuff, so I shouldn't be complaining about not seeing someone's face. But it's because he can pull off a lot of different ranges, lots of different emotions. And I just think that helmet deserves to come off more, not just in the Star Wars universe, but he deserves to be in more projects outside. And I found him really entertaining as Harvey, but just the contrast from his acting in Mando is really good.
I like how you talk about Pedro Pascal, whether it's supposed to be a Nick Cage film.
I know, but he was the standout. I'm sorry, he was.
So it was good to see.
But because it dragged on a bit until he came.
And I liked Lily Sheen in it. It was Michael Sheen's daughter. She didn't play a big part, so I think she's somebody to watch for the future. So
yeah, there's another young talent in Obi-Wan Kenobi that we need to watch out for in the future. But somebody hasn't seen it yet.
We're not talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're talking about the films we've seen. So
yes,
this year.
So
good.
Yeah.
So I was really annoyed that it sort of like disappeared. But again, I hope we get to see it again, and that it should be recognised. We're sort of like promoting the underdog films here, but yeah. That's
your turn.
So number 4 for me was an underdog film called Ambulance. It just appeared in our cinemas for about 1 week, I managed to see it. I'm really glad I did. I loved it because I didn't fall asleep. Some films I do fall asleep at because, well, for whatever reason. But I was on the edge. It was like I was going for a ride, a pretty exciting ride. And yes, okay, it's popcorn. It's just that, like, things were a bit over the top. Some people complained about the camera shots, but I liked it that way, and that's what kept me engaged. You know, I just felt as if I was, you know, like on a drone, you know, going for a ride.
Yeah.
And you haven't seen it, but I loved it. I really loved it, and I like the actors, and I like the story, and yes, it was a bit ridiculous, but you know, I think sometimes you can take things too seriously. And unfortunately, I only saw it once, so I'll be looking forward to seeing it again sometime. Yeah.
Number 3 for me is Death on the Nile. I really enjoyed this film. And I think because of Kenneth Branagh's films, starting with Murder on the Orient Express, I'm getting more into the murder mystery genre more than I ever have been. And although it was a bit annoying that it took like half an hour into the film for the death to happen, I thought it made you more sadder and helped you get to know the characters better. I will warn though, some things can be a bit triggering. There's the theme of interracial relationships, and especially if you're in the United States right now and you know what's going on with all the laws being turned. I just advise, if it triggers you, to step away, because although it's a really good movie, I just think, given what's going on right now... I don't want
people to step away. I think that's the way things are going at the moment. It's very modern.
But
it's different from the book.
But I mean specifically if you're a person of colour, but if you're a white person, sorry if it makes you uncomfortable, you need to check yourself.
We don't have to go into that.
But I think it was good. It was well written. It was like, well, we won't go into that specific. All I will say is, though, they built up the character. There was this one character who was in both films, and I absolutely sobbed when he was.
It's a great character.
And it was just so unexpected what they did with it, and the twists and turns. So, very good film, and all the cast was great, and I hope it gets more love.
Mm-hmm. So, more please, Kenneth.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 for me was The Batman. Now, I've never been into the Batman. I liked the old 60s TV series I watched when I was very young, and of course I watched the repeats. I liked it when it's... I'm a bright and colourful person, what else can I say? And I didn't like it when it went all dark and gothic and everything. It's just not my style. So, yeah, unfortunately, even though I like I love Christian Bale as an actor, I just didn't follow it, but I will. It's on my wish. The films that Christian Bale made are on my list. I think I watched Michael Keaton. I watched them, but I just my favourite, to be honest, was his George Clooney ones.
And but people hate them.
Yeah, people hate them. But you know what I'm gonna say? I'm weird. I'm really pleased how this turned out. I sort of like thought, come on now, you've got to sort of be open-minded and give this a chance, and I'm glad I did, and I think Robert Pattinson did an excellent job.
He was really shockingly good, considering everyone just knew him from Twilight.
And I just want to see, I know there's going to be more now, so I'm glad it did well, and I will be invested in this franchise in the future.
Yeah. Number 2 for me, this was my most hyped movie for the year, because of how awesomely edited the trailer was. It was like the best trailer I'd ever seen. But it's not number 1 because I thought about it a bit more. It might be my brother bullying me.
I really thought it'd be your number 1. You said to me, this is going to be my favourite film of the whole year. You said to me.
It's just thinking about it more, but it is favourite, but if I had to rank it, wouldn't be ranked number 1. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I am not into the video games. I have never even seen a single piece of Sonic media apart from the first film, but basically the story is I have my best friend, and then I have my other friend from high school, so I've got my best friend who I've been friends with since primary, and my friend from high school. Both of them are close bestie status. They're really into Sonic the Hedgehog, so I thought it'd be nice of them, because they're into it, to see it with them. So I saw it with both of them separately, because they don't know each other. So I got into the first movie, loved it, and then I wanted to see the second one, and we arranged it with my friend's sister and her, and we enjoyed it a lot. And I really enjoyed this second one.
I thought it was.
It was way better. It was way better than the first.
I enjoyed the first one.
I just thought like it really developed all the characters well. But my only thing is, if they do need to be careful, I'll talk about the post-credit scene in a minute. But regarding to the film, not a fan of Jim Carrey as a person, as an actor. Might be controversial. People are going to slay me. But I just loved him in this film. He was a really good villain.
You see,
and he had a really good dynamic with my favourite character of this film, Knuckles, voiced by Idris Elba. I really tried to figure out why he was the standout for the movie for me. But I think it's because it was just he was developed so well. And I've seen in the games he's written a bit low IQ. So I thought he was really good, and he reminded me of Thor a bit. Even though Sonic called him the Winter Soldier, which was the wrong reference, because he should have saved that for another character. But, you know, I thought it was really good, and I just thought the new characters were really entertaining. My only thing is, I disagree with the people who said the Sonic and Tails bonding scene was bad, and the wedding.
I love the wedding.
Especially the wedding, because it would have been so boring if it was just an average wedding that Sonic interrupted and then the police showed up because they were stalking the wedding couple.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
I think it made for a better twist, and it also develops in turn. The reason why I think they're keeping Rachel around is so that the more Sonic characters they have, the more that Rachel will adopt some of these characters too. People think Rachel is going to adopt some of the aliens that come into the verse as well.
Well, we'll see.
So we'll see.
I'm sure there'll be more.
But
I hope so.
I hope there's more. Now on to the post-credit scene. It was so funny the first time. I have to talk about it because it was really good.
She will talk about it, yes.
Because I don't know the games, I turned and whispered to my friend, not my best friend, but the one with her sister, the one with the sister, and I whispered to her, "Is that Sonic's twin brother? Who the heck's that?" And she just laughed. And I'm so sorry, Sonic fans. I'm so sorry. He looked exactly like Sonic. Shadow looked exactly like Sonic, but he had his, reverse colour scheme. So that's why I thought he was like a twin brother or something. But I thought he was very exciting. Now I've looked into the lore of Shadow the Hedgehog. My only concern is that you need to make the next one a 12A. I don't think it's going to work as PG. Mum's shaking her...
I disagree, sorry.
Mum's shaking her head. But this character's backstory involves murder, and you can't censor it for kids.
No, but you can adapt it.
I know, but I don't think I've seen the games now. I don't think you can cut out any part of this character.
Yeah, you can.
No, Mum, you haven't seen it. I will show you the videos, but you can't cut it out.
We'll see.
But that being said, I am excited for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. My only gripe, please develop Shadow well. And 2, and make it a 12A, because I just want the nitty gritty of the story. I don't want it cut down.
The thing is, will Jim Carrey return?
He will. Then we'll get Agent Stone as the villain in the fourth one or whatever.
It says he's going to retire, but the thing is, with Jim Carrey, some of the films I like and some I don't. But I really like him in this.
Sonic. I hope he goes. Yeah, I hope he comes back. And then second, please have more girl characters. Man, there just feels a gender inequality. There's only Maddie at the moment, and in my opinion, I do agree with people that people say Maddie's written a bit blandly. She is. So I do think they need more.
It's a common problem.
They write their women, but yeah, Sonic 2, good.
Number 2 for me, Coda. I said in another video last year that I've really been wanting to see it for a long time, and then it just didn't appear in the cinemas around here. But way and behold, for just 1 week only, it appeared in the cinema, and I managed to get to see it on my own. It's a shame I couldn't share the experience with somebody else, but I loved it. It had comedy. It pulled up the heartstrings. It just did a really good job of getting everybody's point of view, and it just did that amazingly. It's a bit like Wonder, the film Wonder, with that little boy.
Yeah.
And it just explained everything, wonderfully. And I'm really glad I got to see it. So yeah, so please, all those who didn't get to see it in the cinema, because it was a great experience, anybody who has seen it on streaming, please let me know what they're for.
Wait, we can now watch it because it's on Now TV, isn't it? No, it's on Apple TV.
Yeah, this is the problem with streaming. So even though we're getting into it, you just can't watch
too many.
That's
Paramount. They're doing Paramount Plus, and as much as I love Dora, as much as I love other stuff,
things are getting out of control. So number 2, Coda. And it just nipped in. Yeah. I mean, there was going to be things on the list as well, but that crept in because I just managed to see it before the end of April. So anyway, you're number 1.
So if Spider-Verse had not been delayed, that probably would be my favourite superhero film of this year. But my number 1 is The Batman. Thinking about it more, because it was a bit jarring for 3 hours, I really enjoyed this film. Gotham itself felt like its own character, and I was more interested in Gotham than I was the characters. That being said, I did love Alfred and Bruce, and I just loved I'm sorry, I'm really what you call I'm really political, I'm really radical. So I loved all the themes in this movie. I loved Riddler as a villain. My only hope is that they continue to bounce all their villains as goofy and gritty, because they did really well, because the last Riddler on screen, ironically, was Jim Carrey, and he was... So it's really refreshing to see a modern take of the Riddler. And I also loved the take of Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson, if he doesn't get an Oscar, he's another one that deserves it, and they keep missing those opportunities.
People say, he deserves an Oscar, but they don't. And by the end of this year, they'll have forgotten.
I know, and it's sad because
I was really annoyed that the things that was
No Way Home
was snubbed.
No Way Home.
I was really annoyed.
No Way Home was snubbed.
So, and it's really surprising how my son, I thought he became obsessed with the Batman. And I thought that would have been his number 1.
No.
But my number 1, you've read it. Yeah, what's your reaction to that? Because you didn't see it. Come on, what do you think?
Ugh! Just did a gagging noise to the gang.
Okay, you know I'm a Marvel fan, so my number 1 is Morbius.
No!
And I get really annoyed about all the people that were sort of like disrespecting it. And you see, I'm not a nitpicker.
You've got to be joking.
I'm not a nitpicker, and I think people were just nitpicking it. And yeah, do you think I'm joking? Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're joking.
I am.
Yes, thank goodness, because that scene with Vulture just spoiled the entire No Way Home.
Okay then, Morbius. I saw it in the cinema by myself. I don't think they're gonna make another one at all. I liked Matt Smith in it. The CGI was not quite right.
Horrible.
And it just doesn't seem right in the genre of Marvel. But I do think he might be fitting into maybe, you know, the what other things, you know, the Misfits and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I just
mutants.
He's not a mutant.
It kind of, but I just don't think it. Listen, okay then, but it's not the worst film I've seen. It's not the best.
But what is your number one, please?
Okay, my real number one is Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yay! Like
I saw it in December. I didn't put it on my list because I didn't think it was fair to put Marvel films and a load of musicals because that's all the my list would have been. And I thought, well, and I only saw it once in December, and from January till sometime in April, I saw it another 6 times. So that's 7 all in all.
I'm jealous.
And you wanted to see it a lot of times, but you didn't get a chance, and you were ill and everything. Blah blah blah. Get the violins out, and look, it's possible that sometimes I see something 5 times. Bohemian Rhapsody broke the record by seeing it 6, but Spider-Man: No Way Home has broken the all-time record. Okay.
Don't rub it in.
I know people have probably seen it a lot more. They've probably, you know, you say,
oh yeah, this dude saw Captain Marvel like 140 times to get in the Guinness World Records book.
Yeah, I couldn't do that, but to me 7 times is. But I think it warranted it because I loved it. I've loved Tom Holland since I can't remember how old he would have been when he made his first film. It was quite a depressing film, but even in that I saw him and I thought he's got a bright future ahead.
Yeah.
So it's somebody I've spotted for a long time and I've seen him develop. I've had every faith in him and I'm saying, yeah, I was right because he's done well, and I think he's brilliant. I was gutted though when they only made 2 films with Andrew Garfield because he's another actor that I've really admired
he's
since he
great.
was young. And seeing all 3 together, wow.
Insane, just insane.
You were in heaven,
Will. Stop making fun of me for liking Spider-Man.
But yeah, I've loved Spider-Man. I've loved Peter Parker, you know, since I was young. You know, I've read the comics and it's one thing I remember, you know.
Yeah, it was great.
And I loved it. It was funny, like all the Tom Holland films have been spot on.
It wrecked you, but it was good.
Made you cry, and even took somebody along who's not into all this sort of stuff, and they enjoyed it. So
yeah,
well deserved number 1, and it's also Max's number 1. Even though he's too shy to appear on camera, it was, and I thought he'd prefer the Batman, because he became obsessed with the Batman.
Yeah. Speaking of Batman, I will say, because I forgot to mention it. Speaking of Gotham as a character, there's a book that makes the story of the Batman even better. It's 7th on my long reading list.
She's into reading again now.
It's before the Batman. It's like a prequel novel. It does get a little rush at the end, I hear, but I just, because Spider-Man: No Way Home will always be my fave, but the Batman was really good. So it's a good second place.
We'll wrap things up now, and please like and subscribe. Please write some nice comments on what you really thought of things and whether you agree with us or disagree with us, or even write your list of what your favourite films are. But for now, bye.
Thank you. Bye.